Thursday, 15th of February, 2007. Felicity Hope was walking down Baker's High Street. She had just bought a new pair of lovely black high-heeled shoes. She was making her way home, when all of a sudden a large, red, shining ball bounced out in front of her into the road, and following it, as though connected by a piece of string, a boy ran out too. Felicity Hope followed her instinct. She leapt into the road and pushed the boy out of the way of the oncoming car. Someone knocked on the classroom door. It was history with Mrs. Cross. She was talking about the Romans. Being me, I loved the Romans, and didn't hear Miss Price say she wanted to see me. Mrs. Cross had opened the door to see her, and I was writing about Roman medicine. "Holly?" "Holly?" said Mrs. Cross. I looked at her abruptly. "Me? Those teachers who come to the door for people never want me." Just pack myself away," I replied, and I began to pack my things away. When I got outside the classroom, Miss Pryor led me in the direction of the main reception. She said nothing to me. I did get a little worried, but thought nothing of it. When we finally reached reception, there was a policewoman and my granddad, whom I hadn't seen in a couple of years. Then, without anyone telling me what was going on, the policewoman led my granddad and I outside, and we sat on the playground bench. I looked into her eyes and knew that something had happened to my mum. She'd died and left me to face this world alone. The following day, I got up and couldn't face another day at school. Might have taken my mind off it. Then again, my mum had died. How could anything take my mind off that? Grandma and Grandad had stayed at the house that night, and says that they understood how I was feeling. But they didn't understand. They couldn't have understood what was going on in my head, or the fact that my world had gone. The world that I'd woken up in yesterday. The world I wanted back so very, very much. I started that morning with a trip to the florist's. Mum's favourite flower had always been carnations, her favourite colour always yellow. So I bought a dozen yellow carnations and a card. I wrote, "Dear Mum, I just want you to know that I love you, mainly because I don't feel I told you that enough. You were the best mum I could have had, and no matter what happens to you, you will always be with me, even though you've now gone. Holly." Yellow. You can see why that was her favourite colour. Happiness and light. She could have been the definition of yellow herself. Bright, glowing and happy. I went down Baker's High Street and past the shoe shop and the book place. Then I reached Brown's bed shop. I stood in front of it and looked out into the road where my mum had sacrificed her life for bent shadows. A little boy who had woken up this morning with only a grazed knee to show for yesterday's ordeal. Brown's bed shop, that was it. There was always a way from under the bed. That's what was in the movies. And that was the only thing here that something could be hidden under. The oak desk sank too low to the ground to be able to get under. So it had to be the bed. I started to kneel down and saw deep scratches in the floor beneath the dirt. Put my hand against the bed and pushed as hard as I could. To my surprise, it moved really easily and there was a sheet. The banging on the door continued as I pulled the sheet off to reveal a trapdoor. I slid down, and just as I closed the lid behind me, I heard the rusty old door screech open. It would have seen the trapdoor close, know where I'd gone. So I had to get down these set of stairs, fast. The stairs seemed to go on forever. When I finally reached the bottom, I knew where I was, so I had a good chance of getting out, I suppose. It was getting closer. There was a long corridor between me and outside. He'd said I was going to be okay, just like he had when we'd met. Wednesday, 18th of April 2007. My birthday. Grandma and Grandad weren't coping with me. I wasn't coping with my new life in the Yorkshire Dales. I decided I was going to go for a walk and think. I thought about Mum and Dad. Dad. See, losing Dad was never that hard because I was only 2.5. I couldn't really remember him. I had only had the photo that sat by my bed. Mum missed him a lot, but never let it bother her. She'd hide her sadness and take the goodness out of every day, and use that to keep going. But losing Mum wasn't like it was with Dad. You see, with Dad it was only photos, but with Mum there were photos of 14 years of happiness cut short, which left nothing but sadness after it. Why? Why did that happen? Not my walk. I was thinking where I could go and have a fresh start, where no one would know me. Nothing. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he stood in front of me. As though reading my thoughts, he said, "Come with me, Holly Hope. Everything is going to be okay." And he held out his hand. "Because I can show you a life away from here. Put your hand in mine, and you will be starting a better life." I know you're not meant to talk to strangers, and I almost turned and ran. Then something amazing happened. Mum spoke to me. "Go on, Holly. You're only sad here, and I don't want you to live your life like this. Out there, it's a better life than the one I left you in. I'm so sorry. I love you." So I placed my hand in his, and off we went. I was 3/4 of the way down the corridor. It was close behind me, chasing, hunting, wanting. But why me? I don't know. I asked as I came close to the door. I came to the door and wrapped my hand tight around the handle. For some reason, looked behind me. There, right beside me, there she was. She winked at me and said, "Blah." There she was. My Mum. She winked at me and said, "You're there, Holly. Now go and find him." My name is Holly Hope. I'm 14 years old, and that is my story. So far.